Today, and I'm really sorry for joining in late. There was some technical glitch which we had to start, resolve, and hence we are late by 5 7 minutes. So let's start the session. And yes, as we always say that Mentor My Board today is a brand which is known to the finance minister, to the women and child welfare development minister of India, along with Dr. Kiran Bedi, who is the governance evangelist. We've launched various initiatives at Mentor My Board, like Boardroom Mastery certification programs for the promoter directors, the WOOM program that we are starting a new batch from tomorrow onwards. So we've trained around 48 women till date under the WOOM program, and the sixth batch is going, starting tomorrow morning. Um, the WOOM program is the one that was launched by our Honorable Finance Minister in 2022. So we believe and we truly believe that, it is continuous learning, continuous nurturing, hand holding that is very important. We have various board Tattva series where we have those mock experiential boardroom for the people to come participate. On the platform of Mentor My Board, we have blogs, videos, meets that happen, wherein you come network and be in the whirlwind of those like-minded directors. And in the pursuit of building better on boards and having effective directors for the corporate India, we strive to create a community of 1 lakh directors on the platform of Mentor My Board. And yes, so these series of member spotlight, these series have a very focused, approach where we recognize, we share the credibility of the members of our platform of Mentor My Board who are under the spotlight. And one such member today with us is Pallavi Salgaocar. So Pallavi is based out of Goa. She's a CA, an entrepreneur. She's a finance director at GENO Pharmaceuticals Private Limited, a founder director of Desserts and More Bakery Chain. She is a managing committee member of GCCI, that is the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She's in Women Empowerment and Development Chair with the Ashochem Goa, a director in Biochem Urban Cooperative Bank, that is the Laghu Udyog Bharati Cooperative, Laghu Udyog Cooperative Bharati Director, and an executive committee for G100 Food Innovation Chair Goa. She has many more accolades to her, kitty. And with this, Pallavi, welcome to this member spotlight series. And we would be happy to, interact with you in the next 30 minutes and understand from you how has been your journey.
Thank you for having me today.
Welcome, welcome. So we would be happy if you can share your key milestones and experiences that have shaped your remarkable career in transitioning from a distinguished chartered accountant to a visionary entrepreneur in the bakery chain industry and eventually taking on the role of finance director at Neo Pharmaceuticals Private Limited.
It is GENO Pharmaceuticals Private
Oh,
Limited.
I'm sorry, Gino. Okay.
So basically, after marriage, I joined a family business. So because GENO Pharmaceuticals is a family business,
Hmm.
I at, originally when I joined, I only concentrated on the accounts part, accounts and finance department. But that is the key of the business. So that is a core, you can say, from where all the activities start in the business.
True.
Yeah, I was there for from I think 2004,
Hmm.
and over the years, after though my husband wanted me to be a part of more of the activities of Genome, of late I have actually been participative in the export part, in the legal part, and some part of marketing, administration, and very little of production. Though
Wonderful. So you've covered almost all the aspects into the business now.
yeah, I've covered most of the aspects of the business. But in 2014, I started my entrepreneurial journey, where we started our division as a Singh Bakery, as a foods division of Gino, and we started under the brand name Desserts and More. So it has been 9 years with Gino Pharmaceuticals as a division. So
Wow.
in this 9 years, we have grown through a network of franchises and suppliers, express counters, self-operated shops. So basically, for me, this has been my journey. Plus, I have been a part of a lot of office bearers positions. Earlier, I was the secretary of Rotary. Of late, not so active in Rotary. But then I was the GCCI Women's Wing chairperson for 4 years. Now, when I am
Hmm.
managing committee and SOCHM Goa Women Empowerment Chair for I think almost 1.5 years now. Plus,
Wonderful.
I am a director in Bicholim Urban Cooperative Bank for almost 19 years now. And
Oh,
besides that, G100 Food Innovation Chair of Goa, which I think last 1.5 or 2 years I've taken up.
that's awesome. Like your journey has been incorporating so many varied segments to handle. And how is it that you handle all these things, simultaneously? How is it that you do it?
Actually,
Could you
it just
take us through
happened.
your entrepreneurial journey and the journey that you're handling these different, chairs and leading it?
Yeah, actually, it just happened, I would say, because I'd written a cookbook. So during one of the I think food cookery contest or something, I met a lady. We
Okay.
partnered to start a bakery unit, which didn't work out. After 1 year, we parted ways. But
Mhm.
then my husband supported me, and we started this unit in Sing only of division as a division of GENO Pharmaceuticals. For
Mhm.
my entrepreneurial journey was like for 9 years, and then office bearers positions happened, I would say. I was
Wow.
very hesitant when I was offered GCCI Women's Wing because at that time my son was also small, and,
Hmm.
you have to give caregiving times. So I was not too sure how I would take it. But then over the years, when I took it up, I started enjoying this office bearers positions. So after
Wow.
4 years, I thought as I was working in a local chamber, so
Mhm.
then I got a national position because SOCHM is a national chamber. So I took up that position, and then it has been I've grown over the years, I would say, and it has been a learning journey for me.
Wow. So since you mentioned about learning, so how does continuous learning or being continuously upgraded, upskilled seem to you? How do you feel about it? What is your vision of continuous learning?
I would say I am a lifelong learner. And as it is, as a chartered accountant, we are supposed to do this CPE hours we have,
True.
continuous practical education. Because without that, today is a world of dynamic changes where you have to keep in touch with the latest happenings in the world. So for CAs, as CAs, we have to keep on continuously learning, doing new courses, attending webinars, seminars, conferences. But otherwise, also, I have always done other things. Like I have done this IOD certification course, Mentor My Board certification course for independent directors. And now, actually, I have today only I'm signing up for one more certification course from Corporate Institute of Corporate Affairs of India. So basically, I love learning, and I absolutely love reading books. I'm a voracious reader, and I would love to be with my books all the time. And plus webinars from COVID, I think it started where I started attending a lot of webinars because it was accessible from my bedroom.
Hmm.
So from that time, I have done even during COVID times since I was at home. And Goa being a party state, there were hardly any parties or events or anything. I used the time to do a course from Stanford, a course in innovation or entrepreneurship. So this
Wow.
1 year course was entirely online, in which we had around 10 or 12 papers, I think, and then
Okay.
it also was an online exam, which was very good. And during this time also, just before I did my Stanford course, I was selected for Goldman Sachs 10K program, which was
Okay.
very informative and a big game changer as far as my professional entrepreneurial journey was concerned.
Hmm.
Selection process by itself was very methodical. They had an interview to select you. They had certain parameters on the basis of which they selected. And luckily, it was online because otherwise you had to go to Bangalore and a couple of times and attend that course there. So
Right.
it's an association with IIM Bangalore, and
Hmm.
it's one of the best courses I would say I've attended because there, the first time in my life, I learned to do a business plan because my
Hmm.
entrepreneurial journey was completely unplanned. It was like it just happened, one thing happened to another and after another, and it was a passion which got converted into a business. But my Goldman Sachs course put everything into perspective. So I would
Hmm.
say they were the ones who taught us how to do business plans, how to strategize, how to go ahead. And even now, every 6 months, I get an email from them. Ki,
Hmm.
how have I grown after doing this course? So
Oh.
Yeah, so we have to continue, and even if you don't send a reply, then they will constantly call you up and make you fill the Google form and showing your growth milestones after you have done, means how beneficial the course is for you. So it is not like one time you finish off and they give you certificate. No, they are constantly in touch with you. They have got webinars where they constantly make you attend it and learn new things. Even the Stanford course, they have their webinars, so that also email I get. Of course, that happens at night since it is in the US. The courses are
Hmm.
always 10:30 and 11 o'clock at night. The webinars. So both these courses were something which were game changers in my life, which drew me towards learning. Before that, I have never done. Pre-COVID, I have not done any course. So post-COVID, I have fallen into this learning journey, and I absolutely love to learn.
That is wonderful. And since you spoke so elaborately about entrepreneurship, so how has your background in finance, especially because you're a CA, right? And finance and entrepreneurship, which has influenced your leadership style. So, what is your leadership style, and how has these things influenced your leadership style? Is what we would want to know. We would love to know from you.
Yeah. So basically, I am into both pharmaceuticals and bakery, but
Exactly.
I have had no prior experience in both. So whatever I've learned is both on the job. So
Hmm.
first 10 years, I was totally into pharmaceuticals, but over the years, even GENO has grown a lot and has changed a lot compared to what we started with. Our the way of doing business has changed. The business environment is ever evolving. That has changed, and even bakery, whatever I have learned on the job. But recently I was reading that when you learn on the job, it is a expensive exercise. So for me, I have made a lot of mistakes in bakery because that was something I led, because pharmaceuticals was led by my father-in-law or now my husband, but
Hmm.
my entrepreneurial journey for the bakery chain was something which I led. So down the 9 years, I have made a lot of mistakes. Today I
So,
know
I think it is not an expense, but it is an investment in yourself. Uh,
I hope it is an investment. But today I know what works, what doesn't work. I just know everything what happening. But yes, both of them were new, and whatever I've learned in both the businesses were on the job. Yeah,
Wow, wonderful. Because predominantly when you speak of, chemicals business, it is male dominated one. So how has been your experience with, facing a bias? Have you faced any, in the past, or how has been your experience in that segment?
lots, lots of bias. I
Okay.
was, I think 19 years back to be accurate, I was elected to be on the board of Bicholim Urban Cooperative Bank, which was
Mhm.
started by my family, by my uncle. So
Okay.
it was like, so for the first BOD annual general meeting, it was when I attended the annual general meeting. It was a big hall filled with people, and it is in a, I would say, semi-urban area, Bicholim place. So it
Okay.
was filled with people, and somebody just commented in the meeting that you have this woman just for as a decorative piece or something.
Oh
So,
my God.
so I heard it. I came down. I didn't say anything. So I said, let the meeting get over. So the meeting finished. And he said something else also, which I don't remember too well. I came down. I spoke to him. I gave him my point of view. And then we were okay. We resolved the matter. So I didn't do anything on the stage. I came down. So after that, I have gone to a lot of meetings where women were always less. It was always like one or two ladies on the board. Anywhere else I've gone, or even in bigger meetings, it was always like very few women and lot of men. In government meetings or other meetings, it was always like this. And actually, surprisingly, recently I went for Urban Cooperative Bank, and I was
Mhm.
doing registration. So I just called. I wasn't getting through a link, so I called him up and said that I'm not being able to register for this program conclave. It was huge all India conclave for urban cooperative banks. So he's telling me now that, madam, this conclave is for directors. So I said, yes, I'm a director. So imagine your mentality of,
Oh my God.
and for the conclave, of course, there were like, I would say at least 90% plus were men. Few
Hmm.
ladies were there. Most of them were spouses, because when I spoke to them, I found that they were spouses just attending with their husbands. Some of them were dynamic. One or two of them got awards also. They were women presidents, I think, of the boards, and two or three of them from South India. I think they were dynamic. But very maybe 5% were there, women who were actually directors, and 95% were men. So this is all this men, but of late, thanks to government also representation, making mandatory for women to be on the board, and
Right.
there are more women who are taking, who are being achieving more of their professional status, and they are there on the boards or in committees or in meetings. So yes,
So I think the awareness has gone higher, and that is where we find women coming out and speaking about, them being directors. So the way you mentioned that, after you were put into those roles, you enjoyed doing those roles more. So
yeah.
definitely, that is one kind of exposure that still women need much more than
Whatever
what.
anybody may say to me, I would say I never took it as discouragement or anything. I always wanted to go ahead and prove that person wrong. Like I have heard some people saying that no, they were like upset, disappointed. For me, no. For me, it was like I will prove the person wrong. I will work hard. I will show to him that we are there not because of. I've recently written an article, so I mentioned the same thing. We are
Oh,
there because of our experience, educational qualification, our capacities. We are not there just because government has made it mandatory for women to be there on the boards.
very true, very true. In fact, this was a point which we captured in the last Women Directors Conclave as well that we held that, is it the reservation and which is, mandating it, or it is the skill set and the experience that is being considered for women before taking them on boards. So I totally agree that women on boards today are not because of those designations or just the tick box activities. They are there based on their skill sets.
Yeah, correct.
True. So, given your diverse roles that we just discussed, how do you maintain your work-life balance? Like, what are your best practices that you follow? Or you have a kid you mentioned, he was very small when you joined, the cooperative bank board, if I'm not wrong, that you mentioned, right? So, how is it that you take it ahead? What has been your, personal mantra of success?
So actually, a lot of people tell me today that they follow this work balance thing, um, work-life balance and everything. And if they can follow, then kudos to them. Because I've had bank friends who have worked in even private banks, and they tell me that they cannot switch off their mobile till 10:30 at night because that is a precondition for private banks. And I
Oh,
personally, I do the same thing. I actually switch off my mobile at 10:30 because then
okay.
sometimes I've received like orders at 10 and 11 at night. Once, twice I did not respond because I found it too late. So I said, let
Hmm.
me respond the next day. By the time the next day I contacted the person, they said, because you did not respond at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, they gave the order to somebody else. I said, fine.
Oh.
So that didn't, when I remember when my father works, he used to be like in office 9 o'clock and come back by 6 o'clock. Then he used to be switched off. There was no mobile at that time. He used to
True.
call up at night. He used to get one phone call where he used to get all the collections of the day. And that was it. And then he used to spend the time with his family or newspaper or TV, whatever. Today we are on the thing on the call 24 by 7. We
True.
get emails on our phones. We get WhatsApp messages. We have all these business WhatsApps. Everything comes on the phone. And it's very difficult to log out. People don't understand. A lot of ladies, in fact, are free at night. So you get a lot of emails at night from them.
Yes.
A lot of
So
men also, in fact, a lot of I have sometimes, unfortunately, also sent a lot of business WhatsApp at night, which I got immediately responded back. But I feel there should be some threshold we must keep beyond which we should not all communicate, at least business communication. But then I guess that's a way of doing business today. Everybody is like 24 by 7, but I try to switch off my phone 10:30 maximum, because then I finish all the orderings of the bakery and then I get my collections of the day all by 9 o'clock. So I have to anyways log in at 9 on my phone and check all the collections in all the outlets. So
correct.
that is something, because some people tell me, no, we are 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at home, then I don't check my mobile, I don't check my emails, everything. Then kudos to them.
Kudos to them.
Uh,
Seriously, kudos to them.
I have not been able to follow that.
I think entrepreneurship is something very different, and it is more than you cannot switch off from those transactions.
Yeah.
So
So
yes,
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, I get the collections of the day. I get to know what has happened during the day, my closing status, next day order. So
exactly.
all this happens at night, which I just
Right.
can't avoid.
Of course not. So if it is still, a very traditional government job, we can still think of something of,
Yeah.
closing down by 6:37.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like really difficult in the. corporate world that we are speaking about. So you have been, an Ashokam Goa Women Empowerment Chair and former chairperson of the Women's Wing of Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So how do you actively contribute in fostering the women's empowerment in both the professional in the community settings? And what are your viewpoints, or I would say, your suggestions to women entrepreneurs who are coming up?
Yeah. So basically, I was there as a Singh in GCCI first, now a women empowerment chair of Singh, Goa SOCHM. So earlier, I have done mostly in the urban areas, I guess, a lot of functions, a lot
Hmm.
of events on financial literacy, digital literacy. We have set up a free help desk. And then we did a lot of schemes were there of the government and even of the banks or EDC in Goa, which the people did not know. So we had a lot of sessions to make them aware of these schemes. And then we had our Asturi, where we gave a platform to women entrepreneurs to market and sell their products. So
Oh,
these things I have done as a chairperson of GCCI Women's Wing, and now as SOCHAM, I have been more going into the hinterland Goa. I've gone to places I've never gone in my life. The length and breadth of Goa, 2.5 hours away from my house actually.
oh,
And we have done a lot of programs for empowerment of the rural women, letting them know of the schemes. We have done this Goa Swaympurna scheme where programs where we have communicated to them with resource persons of the government, of the banks, of the loans available to them, the schemes available to them, how they can set up their own businesses. And also we have now actually we have started this digital empowerment of women, of rural women who have started their businesses but they are not online.
hmm.
So we have got students who are interacting with them, who are getting them digitally online. So this is currently going on, our ongoing project, which is also in the hinterland, one place in South Goa and one place in North Goa. So
Oh,
this college students also benefit because they are also learning how to go digital, and they are also empowering the rural entrepreneurs to go on to online.
wonderful. So, how has been your, understanding about the upcoming women-led businesses? Are there more women-led businesses that are coming up, or what has been the ratio in the past and currently? What is your understanding on that?
In Goa, I would say there are more of small and medium women entrepreneurs, very few big entrepreneurs or corporates. Most of the women in big companies are in family owned businesses.
Hmm.
So, the small and medium entrepreneurs, some of them operating from home, some of them operating from their own premises. So, they are also pretty good, but I find them in traditional industries compared to when I went for the Goldman Sachs course. I found a lot of women in new age industries. You can say consultancy, IT, and then new industries, EVs, even EVs, lot of them, and a lot of industries which I was not even aware of. So because this crowd was from all over India for a Goldman Sachs course, we were
Correct.
100 plus women, and they were like a lot of new age industries. So I always felt that women in Goa don't have exposure. They are into traditional either food, clothes, beauty business. So normal traditional industries, which is saturated right now, too much of competition, saturated. So we should actually, as women entrepreneurs in Goa, we should get into new age industries, I feel. And especially it's very good for women like IT or consultancy, which is something which they can operate from home also.
True, true. So, what would be your suggestion or your inputs to them? Like, how do they come out of these traditional businesses or understand or acquire those new skill sets that are important for them to think out of the box, start something new? So, what is your take on that?
First thing, I think they need to be educated of what industries they can go. So maybe we should have some programs for them. So I was trying to do this, but I've still not got a resource person who can tell them of all these industries which are there available. Compared in what I've seen in outside Goa is that they partner with a lot of male founders,
Hmm.
and they get into this EV or other industries which are not there in Goa. So they partner with the male founders, they start their own startups, and they go in a lot of or sustainability and or totally different industries which I have not seen in Goa.
Hmm.
So one thing is to educate them. Second thing, I find their risk-taking appetite in Goa is much lower. They're a little bit worried about taking loans, going for pitching, financing, and taking the big bets, which I find them their risk-taking appetite in the other states much higher. Especially Bangalore, I think, is a startup capital of India. There, the
Yes.
women are a different class altogether. You can't match them with the women from Goa. and they are totally into startups, and the quality of women I found for my course was like really good. And most of them were MBAs, which I hope to do. I hope to do an MBA course sometime in the future. But their quality and the risk appetite is much higher than what I found entrepreneurs in Goa.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, since you mentioned that, one of the things that you plan to do in your future is the MBA course, what are your things that you've planned for yourself to, upgrade or upskill yourself on certain skills or whatever?
Upskilling is an ongoing process. I already told
Yes.
you. Just today, I took one course of 4 months. I don't know how I'm going to fit it in my big, busy schedule, but I thought my husband and son were like, not one more course, but I thought it was quite good, so I thought I will just try to fit in somewhere. But I love reading books and I love skilling myself. So that is something which is an ongoing process. Come what may. And now I want, actually, I met recently somebody who wanted me to take up an office bearer's post. So I said, no, I want to concentrate on my business. He said, no, 9 years down the line, it should be in autopilot mode. Now,
Oh,
I
yes.
have put my business in autopilot mode when I was busy with something else for short periods of time, but I have never put it for long periods of time. I think as an entrepreneur, he or she drives the business in terms of his intelligence, knowledge, passion, or capacity. So without an entrepreneur, it is very difficult for a business to survive. Of course, you
True.
don't need to micromanage it, but at least your supervisory role or guidance is required for the business. I, in short
True.
periods of time, I have also put it in autopilot mode. But long period of time, I don't know how an entrepreneur would do that. So different views of different people.
Wonderful. Yes, I understand. Totally agree. So, last but not the least, you share your key mantras of success and what is it that you would want to advise to the new age directors?
Yeah. So one thing is that never stop learning, because our world is ever evolving, dynamic, and then there is always something or the other change happening, and we need to keep ourselves updated.
True.
Second thing is work hard. I work like constant. Only Sundays I try to keep off the work, and when some Sundays I work also, because now I
Yes.
just found all of a sudden new passion in writing columns. So even sometimes I sit down on Sundays and finish it off. So hard work, sincerity, never give up attitude, and I do a lot of multitasking. If you can manage it, go ahead.
Wonderful. So, with this wonderful smile on your face and this, amazing interaction, and I'm sure you will just go and you would want to go and check it on LinkedIn. You've got some beautiful comments from people on LinkedIn. So, yes, thank you, Pallavi, for joining in this member spotlight session. And we hope you enjoyed it as much as we did listening to you. And
Very much
we
having
would be
you.
back with you, to interact much more than this.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallavi. See you. Bye bye. And thank you to all our viewers who are here joined in today for this wonderful session. See you another with yet another member from the Mentor My Board platform. Bye bye.